Hey everybody, welcome to Ad Age's Creativity Top 5 Live, which is our favorite time of the week in which we look back at the best creative brand ideas of the week. I am Anne Christine Diaz, Creativity Editor, and I'm coming to you from California, and I'm here with...
I'm Alexandra Jardine, Associate Creativity Editor, and I'm coming to you from London.
And I'm Jessica Wall, reporter, coming to you from Chicago. Hi, ladies.
Hey, all. Thanks for joining us, everybody, too, in the audience. So make sure to tell us where you're watching from, because we love giving you shout outs. So Alex, why don't you kick it off for us?
Yeah, so in our number 5 position this week, are you sick of being told about the latest fad diets? Well, plant-based frozen food brand Strong Roots has come to the rescue with a pitch for one of its products, cauliflower hash browns. Let's take a look at this before we talk about it.
Yeah.
They told me to whisper to my food before eating it.
They said I should only eat in the shower while crying.
They told me to only eat yak butter, but I don't have a yak.
I don't want to change my relationship with food.
Hash browns.
I don't care about the why behind my eating habits.
Crispy hash browns.
The last thing I want is self-understanding.
Cauliflower hash browns. It's time to commit. Commit to cauliflower hash browns. Many diets require foods which are not delicious. The cauliflower hash brown diet replaces these with crispy, delicious cauliflower hash browns. Other diets utilize complicated categories, which may cause headaches. The cauliflower hash brown diet simplifies.
We don't need support from like-minded peers. We just want to eat cauliflower hash browns.
This is a cauliflower hash brown-centric program built on eating cauliflower hash browns. Created with the help of marketing experts who love cauliflower hash browns as much as you do. To activate the cauliflower hash brown diet, simply eat the cauliflower hash browns.
Now there's a reason to keep living. A diet based on cauliflower hash browns.
Thank you, cauliflower hash browns.
Hash browns now or excuses later.
The cauliflower hash brown diet. No weirder than other fad diets, but you get to eat cauliflower hash browns. Lots of cauliflower hash browns. Visit hashbrowndiet.com today to learn about the revolutionary cauliflower hash brown diet and home fitness program.
Finally, a diet high in what I love, cauliflower hash browns.
This is great. This was created out of DCX Accelerator.
Yeah, DCX Growth Accelerator. That they're a Brooklyn-based small agency, which has done a bunch of really cool things in the past.
Every time I watch this one, I find another little nugget or hash brown that I like more than the others. Like the first time it was the way that they whispered hash browns. And then it was the gut picture, like that science class picture. I just
Yeah.
There's a lot to
And
enjoy.
the push-ups at the end. I like the little graphics with the
Yeah,
push-ups.
no, my favorite is the guy with the little wires stuck to his head. It was like it got progressively insane as it went along, and it's like they threw in every kind of stock footage you could even imagine, and they forced it into this ad.
Yeah. The circles of people outside. I mean, there are just so many little things in here too.
I mean, it's like one of those Saturday Night Live skits, except it's for a real product, hey? And you know, a really clever way of promoting a product, which, well, frankly, sounds quite boring. I'm really wondering what the cauliflower hash brown product would actually be like. The diet, rather, like, could you get like Morgan Spurlock to go and eat it for a month and do some tests and make a documentary about it?
It's funny because people are actually wondering if it's a real ad. Yes, it is a real ad, and the brand is called Strong Roots, and it was founded in Ireland, and I think they've expanded globally, over the past 5 or 6 years. And they're starting to be known for their unconventional marketing, because previously they came out with something called a meat patch, where you could stick it to your skin and scratch it and smell bacon. And that's supposedly supposed to help curb your cravings for meat, because this is geared toward a vegetarian or vegan audience. So yeah, it's definitely a real product. And it's funny, one of the techniques there is the repetitive recitation of cauliflower hash browns. I thought that it was just like typical really bad ad, but they're just throwing it at you. I just love how they have fun with it. And we're seeing so many products, Jessica, I'm sure you're seeing it, so many plant-based products coming out. So I think this is a nice way to stand out with humor.
Absolutely. So we'll see. It's an interesting category, and cauliflower-based products based on other things have been around for a while. Cauliflower pizza is probably the most well-known. I don't see what's wrong with just eating regular cauliflower. I like regular cauliflower, but I'm in the minority. I don't know.
We have some shout outs. We have Abhishek from India, Mahmood from Iran, Rafa from Chicago, Ray from California, Misha from the UK, Matthias from Panama, Alyssa and Judy from New Jersey. Hey, Alyssa and Judy from New Jersey. Alyssa Siegel Valentina from Miami. Wow, 2 Alyssas in a row. Antonio from Colombia. Hey, all. Thanks for watching. So, Jessica, you want to tell us about our next one?
Sure. So our next one, sticking with the food theme, comes from Popeyes. And there's a little bit of a backstory here. So this week, McDonald's gave some of its fans a chance to preview its upcoming crispy chicken sandwich, which comes out on February 24th. There was a merch drop, and there was a very specifically spelled website for this merch drop. It was chicken drop, but chicken without vowels, trying to be hip, I guess, McDonald's. And Popeyes decided to get the URLs that almost also spelled chicken drop, but with different vowels and different formulations of the letters in there, and take people instead to a coupon for one of its chicken sandwiches. So McDonald's thing almost immediately sold out. I tried to get it yesterday, and I was immediately locked out right at noon Eastern time. So it was $5. You got a record and a sweatshirt and like a hoodie that had the picture of the chicken sandwich on it and all this stuff. And Popeyes just said, "Hey, we're gonna get all those other URLs and give you a chicken sandwich." So it's piggybacking on the market leader here with a little bit of fun. So.
Yeah, and Popeyes is always so clever with its trolling. And I think they were giving away 10,000 chicken sandwiches, because when I went to one of the URLs, it's 10,000 people. If you're one of the first 10,000, you can get a free chicken sandwich too. And it immediately made me want a Popeyes chicken sandwich. Right. They are delicious.
And that picture of the chicken sandwich and all that, they bought 50 URLs in all to try to get people to land on one of theirs if they misspelled chicken drop, which for the record, was spelled CHKNDROP.com. That was the McDonald's one. I think.
Okay.
I think I spelled that right.
Yeah.
But if you're going to play with
anyway.
spelling, if you're going to play with spelling like that, you should expect to get trolled, I guess.
Right, but why does drop get a vowel and not chicken? But we're talking about it, so somehow it worked, right?
Yeah. So, also it's interesting because the Popeyes offer encouraged you to get the offer through the Popeyes app. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Jessica? Like, what's this big deal about, all the fast feeders wanting you to download its app?
They get the data. They get the information, right? So if you are new to the app, usually depending on which chain it is, you'll get a free sandwich offer or a free drink, or come back and you'll get free guacamole at Chipotle, whatever it might be. They're going to get their app downloaded on your phone. They'll start to send you reminders if you opt into them. So there's a lot of data that they can gather, and then they can personalize offers for you too. So it's interesting to see how many different iterations of first-time offers and comeback, we haven't seen you in a while offers, a lot of these brands are doing right now.
Oh, okay. Cool. Oh, so before we go on, we have more shout outs. Jeffrey from Philadelphia, Grace and Forhad from the UK, Anna from New York, Jad from Dubai, Sylvia from Atlanta, Nicole from Maryland, Hital from India, Kathy from Southern California, my neighbor. Hey, Kathy. And Candy, who is defrosting in Texas. Candy, I'm glad you're able to watch. Hopefully you have power and you're safe out there. Thanks again, all. Thanks for joining us. So I think we have more food news. Who is that? Oh, Eric! Yay! It's our creative director, Eric Spooner. Thanks for joining us. Yay! You came at the right time.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Because what were we about to discuss, Jessica? Something big happened this week.
Keeping with fast food, because we could always talk about fast food on this show. McDonald's came out with some new packaging. It's the latest redesign from McDonald's. And we thought that it would be great for Eric to weigh in on this. This is work that actually began in 2016, and it comes from Pearl Fisher.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this work. I think it's a huge shift, as we can see here on the screen, for McDonald's. These fun graphics around the Big Mac and around the Quarter Pounder start doing something I personally really love. As you know from the Ad Age brand, we're big on stripes. And they started striping all of their food packaging with all of these different ingredients. And it's a fun thing to look at. I'm really excited to see them make a shift. I was a little bit disappointed to see that as it goes through the whole system, it starts to get a little bit, I don't know, it's not like in the details, it doesn't all kind of hang together. But it's a big shift for them. And, the previous iteration of their work was all very type driven, which is a little bit funny when we think about the last packaging redesign we saw. When was that? 3 months ago, from Burger King. And theirs now is also all type driven. So
yeah. Can we take a look at the previous McDonald's packaging first? Max in the back. Can you pull that up?
Boom.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this was from 2016 and very type driven.
Very type driven.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm sort of fascinated by a couple of the choices they've made. Like, one of them is, you look at this old packaging, and I think we've all seen this over and over again. The bags, the boxes, the clamshells, they were all craft paper. They were all brown. And they put their beautiful type around it. And it was loud, and it was a little bit clean and maybe a little bit corporate. But, I think McDonald's is probably a little bit corporate, and it was okay. Like, it kind of fit in its way, but it was clunky. As it rolled out over time, it just became a lot of really loud, big bang type. So it's nice to see them adopt something minimal and beautiful and graphic for the work that they are working on, that they're showing now. But Like sorry, Ann, I was just gonna say, like, the striping of ingredients on the Big Mac and on the Quarter Pounder is really beautiful, and then you get to like the fish fillet and fillet of fish. Sorry, and I'm not so sure that I'm as convinced by the little water wave stripes. And the other issue that I sort of saw was like white with food packaging is always kind of a weird thing. I don't know, Jessica, if you have strong opinions about that.
There's a lot of white in this. I was surprised by how much white there is. The colors are really nice. The colors kind of pop, and the colors on the Big Mac in particular, that works, but there is a lot of white space on the wrappers. I don't know if that's environmentally better, maybe. It's less ink. It might be less expensive. I don't know. But like the Burger King overhaul that was announced in January is very color driven as well. Kind of has a 70s vibe to me. I don't know if that was the intent, but I know they went back to their sort of 60, their 60s, 70s look a little bit. Eric, do you want to talk about that typeface that Burger King has come up with?
For sure. Yeah, I think what's fun to watch with Burger King in particular is the packaging type. You'll see it's in the logo, but it's much more in these little pieces around the wrappers. And here, they're looking like a Tree King. That's a take on a typeface that is really popular from that era called Cooper Black. And Cooper is a big, loud, fun type. It's got big, fat feet that we call serifs. And it's been custom designed for them. And so like there's a lot of action that they're playing with, and there's also just the personality of the type itself, and then they stretch it, and then they move it, and they kind of draw it around things. It's got a lot of color. And I think that this is like super inspired. When you get to McDonald's, they also have their own beautiful custom typeface. But I feel like when I look at the top, but when I look at the top of a package, like I feel like I'm getting a bulletin from the HR department. Like it's just kind of put there.
And I don't. It's interesting. Can we word Big Mac on that box? Like it's a Big Mac. Yeah. I mean, maybe they could put a little fish on the fillet of fish instead of just the water, but like what's going to be in there. So if it was distinct enough, maybe it wouldn't need those words.
What I do like about this new packaging is that, I mean, maybe it's taken a while, but it continues the feel good brand identity refresh that McDonald's did a couple years ago. But I don't know, Max, if you can pull that up. So that redesign was meant to inject the sense of feel good into every interaction that consumers have with McDonald's. Bring this playfulness. A playfulness with the arches, a playfulness with the dripping cheese on a Quarter Pounder. And you see some of that reflected in this new design. That was by Turner Duckworth, I believe. So two different design firms. But you kind of see that continuity. It's just weird that they came out so far apart from each other. If they came out together, maybe that would have made a bigger splash. I don't know, audience, what do you think? Which one would you like to eat better? A Big Mac or a Whopper? Just judging by the packaging. The type driven. That's a comment about the type. We can put the type driven packaging to rest. We actually had some funny Instagram comments as well. What were some of those?
Well, I know that there's like a whole conspiracy about the fry box. Everybody thinks that the printing fry box makes it look fuller, so to trick you that there's more in it. But I think that like the fry box, actually, the McFlurry cup, the Quarter Pounder wrap, the Big Mac wrap, there's really cool stuff happening there. The cheeseburger's fun. It's got that cheese stripe, like you were saying. Then, like you get to the wavy filet of fish. And I think the Egg McMuffin is an interesting idea with the little sun/egg yolk/ whatever, but it doesn't really follow. And it seems like a lost opportunity. But, it is a huge shift for them. It feels so much more personable. But I feel bad, almost like, I can't imagine how I would have felt sitting in the room working on this at the same time that Burger King hit, having known how long this has been, in the making.
Yeah. Do you think that Burger King will last longer than McDonald's? You know, because you could say that Burger King is retro. The retro thing could be over soon. You know,
maybe. I mean, I think about like the really old McDonald's packaging where they had the little golden arches type motif on them for years and years that were popular when I was a kid and was around for a really long time. And I think about what Burger King is doing now. There's sort of a timelessness to that kind of modernism that doesn't necessarily translate with some of this. And so it'll be interesting to see how that comes through over time. With Burger King, I think they're leaning into that timelessness. And I feel a little bad because it's hard not to compare them given how close they've come out together.
Huh. Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell.
Moving from fast food, we have packaged goods. We saw another campaign, Alex. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah. So very quickly, Marmite, for those of you who know what Marmite is, they have a new flavor, a limited edition chili-infused flavor called Dynamite. And they had this billboard come out, done through Adam and Eve DDB, where the lid has kind of been blown off the Marmite because it's so explosive and has gone through the car windshield, which is quite fun. I think they've got some other ones coming up, but we haven't seen those yet. Anyway, they sent me a jar of Dynamite.
Yeah. Wait, so the point behind the ad was the new flavor, right?
Yeah, it's so explosive that it's blown the lid off and it's crashed into a car.
Yeah.
Not your car. To be clear, your car is okay, right, Alex?
My car is fine.
So, Alex, are you gonna?
Yeah,
have you tasted it yet?
I thought, in the interests of science and marketing, I would try. So, and I'm also, for those of you who don't really know what Marmite is, this is how we have it. We have it on toast. We spread it quite thinly, and then the reason I've kind of divided it up like this is children quite often have what we call soldiers. So you slice up the bread into strips and then you can dip it in a boiled egg. And some people like Marmite soldiers. so I will try the chili variant.
First of all, what does Marmite? Wait, have either of you, Eric or Jessica, tried Marmite regular before? I've had regular. I've had regular Marmite.
I have too.
What does it taste like?
It is it's peppery. It's not, I don't think it would blow my head off.
I'm glad your head is still attached, Alex.
It's definitely more spicy than the usual Marmite. I think if you're the kind of person that likes to put chili sauce on everything, you would probably like this.
So why wouldn't you just put chili on your Marmite?
Yeah. But I mean, I guess you could add it. I mean, some people add Marmite to dishes to give it a bit of umami. So I think Nigella Lawson has a spaghetti and Marmite dish. So maybe if you wanted chili, spaghetti, and Marmite, you could add a spoonful of this. I don't know. I think I'll stick with the normal common and garden variety of Marmite.
Okay.
Are there other flavors already, or is this the first time they've updated the flavor?
I think they did a peanut butter Marmite kind of mashup last year, but I hate peanut butter, so there's no way I haven't tried that.
That sounds. One of our viewers had a comment saying, when Americans are asked what they think about Marmite, they say it's interesting, which is a polite way to say yuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marmite is really divisive, even in the UK. I mean, their whole marketing campaign is based around the fact that about 50% of people hate it and everyone else loves it. So it's really, I mean, it really is like in families, there'll be 2 people who hate it and 2 people who love it.
That's going to be my weekend project, feeding my family and myself some Marmite.
Yeah, you need to get hold of it.
Okay, so we're going to get fat just talking about food. So let's move on to our next item. So this is a completely different direction. February is Black History Month, and throughout the month, we've been covering moments of creative excellence in the Black creative community. And this week we had a guest. This week our guest editor was Coltrane Curtis, who's the founder and managing partner of Team Epiphany. And one of the people that he wanted to highlight this week was the photographer Mel D, who established his reputation as a music photographer, capturing the greats of hip hop and rap. But over the past year, he changed up his approach. He just, given everything that happened in the world, he decided to document all the turmoil that's been going on from the pandemic to the social unrest that happened, and then all the way to the riots at the Capitol. So I just wanted to give a shout out to his photography, which is amazing. So he went, he was in the middle of the riots, and he appeared, he got interviewed by CNN, BBC, because he was in the midst of capturing all that chaos. But what was interesting too, was among some of his photos were portraits of Black Trump supporters, which I found fascinating. And if you go to his Instagram, I think it's just Mel D. The link is in the story. You'll see some of those fascinating images, and he actually interviews some of his subjects. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that. And you guys can see all our creative excellence stories so far if you go to the Ad Age homepage right now. I don't know, Max, if you can pull that up, because we have a whole host of stories. They're so interesting, including Lena Waithe, the filmmaker, screenwriter, actor, who's done some amazing things. She actually announced a partnership with Indeed this week, where they're going to be supporting up-and-coming filmmakers. So check that out, please. There's a whole lot to look at. Eric, I had asked you, had you known of Mel D. before? What do you think of his photos?
Yeah, I had not seen Cole's work previously, because my moment in music photojournalism was with a different genre of stuff. So I have seen this kind of work, but I've never seen his. His work is amazing. There's just this incredible energy. He's very much channeling the street photographer, the in the moment sort of grabbing whatever's happening. And he's gotten just some incredible photos of really huge talent. And it's fun to sort of watch that tradition, which informs so much of music photography, especially contemporary music photography, then transition back to where it came from, which was the street. And this project with the documenting the last year of social upheaval and change has just been incredible to look at. I mean, he has extraordinary photos. He has incredible video of what was happening in the moment at the Capitol on January 6th. So this is like some of the best work clearly of the year. Really just great.
Yeah. And props to Coltrane for, shining the light on him. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So next up, Alex, you want to tell us about number 2?
Yeah, so at number 2, it's a campaign from The Big Issue, which is a magazine that's sold in the UK. It's sold by homeless and vulnerably housed people so that they can make an income. Basically, they have their own micro businesses, so they buy a copy of the magazine for £1.50 and sell it for £3, and they keep the difference. However, due to the pandemic, a lot of people have been affected because people are not on the streets anymore. The people who buy the magazine they're working from home, so they're not going to their offices and buying it. So the agency FCB Inferno reached out to LinkedIn to try and help the sellers revive their businesses. They gave 9 sellers of The Big Issue premium accounts on LinkedIn, through which they can take their business online, and they can reach out to customers that they might have known before, people who worked near their patch where they sell the magazine. They can identify them through LinkedIn and reach out to new people. And another aspect of this is it gives them a LinkedIn profile, but it gives them training in digital skills as well. And they had iPads donated by Dixon's Car Phone. I think it's a really fascinating campaign here. And I think the really interesting insight that FCB had was that although these people are selling the magazine on the street, they had regular customers who actually knew who they were, because these people walk past them every day.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's it's such a great example of a campaign that does good, but also promotes the product really well. You know, like we've seen so much from LinkedIn lately, and this is just a good example of how powerful the platform can be, and you know, the reach it could have.
Yeah, and I was talking to the agency the other day, and there was an unexpected kind of outcome from this, which was that the sellers also found a kind of community with each other, which they would never have had before. They were sort of boosting each other on and sharing experiences through LinkedIn. And no one had really predicted that would happen. None of them had ever been on LinkedIn before. They didn't really see it as the kind of social media that was designed for them.
Yeah. I'm so interested to see what the results of this will be. Yeah. They're tracking that, right?
Yeah, and I think they will hopefully expand it if it goes well. And it's a whole move to be able to sell the magazine digitally, when the whole reason for it to exist before was that it was sold on the street.
Yeah. So before we move on to our final one, we have more shout outs. Eric, you want to read those?
Absolutely. Hi to Diane from New Hampshire, David from Israel, Tiffany from Beirut, Udam from India, Thomas from Georgia, Amanda from Costa Rica, Martella from Mexico, Amanda from Denver, Xander from New York, and Victor from Croatia. Wow, big global audience.
Hey, yeah, I just love how everyone's from all over. Thanks for joining us, guys, really. So our final one, Jessica, let's have you talk about this one.
Okay, so the last one comes from Edelman. This is about Tazo tea. It's the Tazo Tea Core. So Tazo and Edelman attempted to tackle some issues with one idea, and they announced that they're going to have this group that will plant and maintain trees in some disadvantaged communities. So places where trees don't normally get planted, or maybe they need more of them. It's about the environment, but it's also about giving back to the community. I don't know if we have a video that we could show just a little bit of.
We all know about climate change. They say if we don't take action soon, our planet will hit a point of no return. But for many Americans, the effects of climate change are already here, like right here. Across the country, Black, brown, and indigenous communities are already facing the worst of it. Some are 20 degrees hotter than whiter neighborhoods in the same city. And it's no mystery why. Decades of discriminatory zoning practices turned some communities into sacrifice zones. Neighborhoods where chemical treatment plants, highways, and heavy polluters were placed. The result, communities with less green space and fewer trees. And trees are a bigger deal than you think. Trees absorb pollution from the air, restore neighborhood water quality, and improve everyone's mental health. We all deserve these benefits. That's why I'm teaming up with Tazo Tea and American Forest to fight for climate justice. This year, we're launching the Tazo Tree Corps, a paid workforce that will build and maintain the urban canopy in 5 cities across the country. I know it sounds too simple, but if planting trees can improve everything from air quality to economic opportunity, then what are we waiting for? This spring, step up for climate justice and join the Tazo Tree Corps. There's a brighter future out there. We just have to plant it.
I thought this was a cool idea.
Yeah. So that was SZA, for those who didn't recognize her. And you can also scan the QR code up on the screen to see all of the top picks of the week. But what's really interesting about this one is Unilever, which owns Tazo, has been very out front about sustainability and environmental work for a packaged goods company. So to see them do something on the ground like this is really not a huge stretch for the overall organization, but the way they're doing it is really different. It's going to be in Minneapolis, it's going to be in Detroit, the Bronx, and a few other places across the country. And they're going to hire local people from the neighborhoods to do the work.
Yeah, and that's what to me is really impressive. It tackles 2 issues. You know, it's not just environmental inequity, but it's also social inequity. You know, it's giving jobs or providing jobs in the community that these trees are also helping to support. So just a super smart idea. And it makes Tazo look really awesome too. You know, they're all about community. Their past campaigns have included camps where people could either boost their creativity or, find a different side of themselves. But this one goes even more beyond. So awesome job from Edelman and Tazo. And that's it, our top picks of the week. Quick reminder before we sign off, the final deadline for our A-list and creativity awards is March 2nd. We know a lot of you hustled last year, so now it's time to be recognized for it. And you could learn more at adage.com/ACA Awards 2021. And we also have one more reminder. Jessica, you want to tell us about that?
Sure. There are a few more days to get your entries in for Ad Age Leading Women Europe. This is an annual program that recognizes trailblazing women in the industry who work and live in Europe. And those entries are due by February 24th. Visit adage.com/Leading Women Europe for more details. So get those entries in. You have the weekend ahead of you. You could do both of them on this weekend.
Yes, both. And once again, if you want to see all the top 5, go to the QR code that we'll put on the screen and it'll take you straight to the story. Thanks again so much for joining us, everybody. And thanks, Eric, for being our special guest. And thanks, Jessica, again, for joining us. And thanks, Alex, as always. And thank you, our audience. We love you. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.